But let's jump into the top 10. Unfortunately, they were separated by segments. However, they were together. Marcus and Markieff Morris, 11 and 10. Coming in at 10, we got Markieff Morris, Washington Wizards. Number 9, we got Dirk, the ageless wonder from the Dallas Mavericks. I think it's some of a respect bump, but also Dirk was pretty efficient in the latter half of the season when Nerlens came over. Then at number 8, the Toronto Raptors. It's weird saying that. Serge Ibaka, also former Orlando Magic, former Oklahoma City Thunder as well. Number 7, we got LaMarcus Aldridge from the San Antonio Spurs. Maybe a little bit low. We'll see. We'll talk about that. Number 6, we got Paul Millsap, the newest Denver Nugget. Number 5, we got Kristaps, the unicorn Porzingis out of New York. Then number 4, we got K-Love from the city of Cleveland. Number 3, we got Blake Griffin from the Los Angeles Clippers. Number 2, we got Draymond Green from Golden State. And number 1, we have Anthony Davis.
He counted. From 10 to 0.
New Orleans.
From 10 to 1.
He almost had it the last one, but he got it this one.
He got it.
There we go.
The thing you got to mention with Serge, too, Serge for Paul George straight up. Because that's basically what happened.
Was it?
Yeah, because Sabonis and Oladipo are now in Indy.
Yeah, but you can't say that because then Terrence Ross went to...
no one remembers Terrence Ross.
Yeah, there's too much in there. But Terrence Ross went
I'm sorry,
to
it's not
Orlando
Draymond for Vucevic.
This doesn't matter. Hold on. This does not matter. Let's get into the actual rankings. This is what people are here for. Looking at this, people might say Kristaps is too high, LaMarcus is too low, Draymond shouldn't be number 2. Looking at Dave, K-Love might even be too high. Ultimately, Dave, what do you think we got right and what do you think we got wrong?
I mean, Anthony Davis is a clear walk-away winner here. And I know this is the whole, is he a center, is he a power forward bullshit.
When Boogie's on your team, you're a power forward.
Yeah, it just comes that easy to me.
Yeah, when they're going to be starting together.
Yeah. So for me, that's easy. Anthony Davis is just a monster at the top. And I think the difference between the number 1 and the number 2 has never been wider for any position as it is for power forward.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys agree. I mean, just... statistically, I mean, anything you want going forward, it's just Anthony Davis is the clear best power forward in the game.
Anthony Davis can be MVP and he can also be Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, like you look at Draymond. Draymond could definitely easily be Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah,
but I don't think Draymond ever is going to be MVP.
No.
You look at Blake Griffin. Maybe Blake Griffin gets to MVP. Maybe that's stretching
he has to do it all.
But he's not going to be Defensive Player of the Year.
No,
and he's a very well-rounded player. He's a very good well-rounded player.
Yeah.
And he
Same
gets
with K-Love.
And he gets injured.
And Kristaps is just young. So I mean, ultimately, I think Anthony Davis clear runaway winner.
Absolutely.
And I think centers might be another one where it might not be it might be a runaway winner as well. But we'll get to that next week. But still, Anthony Davis runaway winner. For number 1. How do you think that he's going to do now with the changes that they've made? Boogie with another season. I mean, I don't want to talk about Anthony Davis too much.
Rondo and moving Drew to the 2 possibly.
They bring our boy Ian Clark.
Yeah, I think that I honestly think that team
they can make the playoffs.
Looks very good going forward. They played pretty well together for the last stretch of games. I really like this team. I want to be positive, but at the same time, like this team has no coach. And I have a might bit of fear behind that lack of coaching.
Yeah. So
is that a little foreshadowing, Dave? Is that you're going to be your last ranked coach?
Might be.
It's just going to say Pelicans for Dave.
It might be, but no. Look, this Sal, he's amazing. The team they've put now they should change some pieces around. Brought Rondo in. I think that only good direction. They've not fucked this up yet.
So the Pelicans trending upward.
Trending upward. So they're on the upcline.
That means Anthony Davis himself is on the upcline. Ricky, looking at LaMarcus Aldridge, we both ranked him at 7. Dave ranked him at 5. Do you think he's too low?
I don't think he's too low at all because I mean I look at what Kevin Love had a better season this year than the year before. Like Kevin Love's the one where I think Dave might have him a little too high. At number 2.
Dave has Kevin Love too.
Don't at me, bro.
But the thing
we'll talk about Kevin Love in a bit.
The thing that I think with Kevin Love is just the in relation to LaMarcus Aldridge is Love had a better season this year. Maybe last year or 2 years ago in the playoffs and the finals, his kind of taking a step back put a negative part in our mind. And with LaMarcus Aldridge, a big thing I look at coming into this, and when I think about Millsap, Love, and Porzingis, the guys that really are the ones where it's like, okay, who's he going to be in front of? LaMarcus Aldridge we had questions about him in the playoffs where it's like, dude, like they beat the Rockets, and then it was like, where did LaMarcus go?
Yeah.
Like, where do you fit in? Did you forget how to like play in the system kind of a thing? Like we were seriously
the system
having
wasn't
questions
built
like
for
that.
him. You're blaming a guy for playing in a system that's not built to have him be the one.
But then also with LaMarcus Aldridge, I think just one thing too is that he did pretty much quit on his team. And then also, I just want to say that doesn't even matter about the system. That doesn't matter about the system. That means about the player.
And when I look at Porzingis, it's like if you asked me LaMarcus versus K-Love, I'll take K-Love. LaMarcus or KP, I'm taking the Porzingod every day. And even Millsap or LaMarcus, I'll take Millsap.
And I think that...
See, that's where I draw the line. I don't think I would take Millsap over LaMarcus Aldridge because we've seen what LaMarcus Aldridge can do in a system built around him.
But he's still in the system in San Antonio that just doesn't work for him.
Well, it's not built around him. There's a difference. Like he's a cog in the wheel of Kawhi Leonard winning them games. Like him back in the Portland days was like, look, I can put up stupid numbers. He was in the same situation as Boogie was, where I'm on a terrible team. I'm not going to win a championship.
They were terrible. They made the playoffs.
Let's be honest. They didn't have a fucking prayer.
No, they didn't, but they still made the playoffs. They weren't terrible. They weren't as bad as the Kings were.
Fair. But he didn't put up as ridiculous finals. He didn't have as ridiculous numbers as Boogie either.
That's true.
That's the thing. It's like when you're on those teams, yeah, you can put up ridiculous stat lines, and that's what I'm saying. Is like I don't just because he played poorly in this stretch of games in the playoffs, I don't want to discount him. The thing I do want to accept for him is the giving up on his team because he has done that, and this is not the first time he's done that.
Basically, when we just talked about leadership in the last segment.
Definitely a concern. That's why the only guy, it's just the Paul Millsap thing for me. I feel like Paul Millsap's in a different category.
I just feel like you look at their numbers. I mean, yes, LaMarcus had a better per, and it's usually a decent sign. I mean, I would say LaMarcus might be a better defender, but I mean, even then, I think Paul Millsap probably didn't have the best support, and when he did have a lot of support in Atlanta, he was absolutely fantastic. When they had that team working and firing on all cylinders with Korver, Teague, the dude on the Nets now, I'm totally blanking his name, got overpaid, DeMar Carroll, Paul Millsap, and Al Horford. I mean, that team was firing on all cylinders. Team? Yeah, and Paul Millsap was fantastic. I just feel like maybe going to the Nuggets, that might give him that boost. And I feel like I just have a sour taste from LaMarcus in general after what happened in the playoffs. And then, he's in trade talks and all this. I just ultimately have a bad taste in my mouth from LaMarcus where he needs to work himself back up to be a top 5 power forward in my mind. Because, I mean, I don't think it's anything where his talent declined. I just think that when a guy quits on his team, I think that leaves such a bad taste where you get dropped just for that. Because we talk about leadership and putting it all together. He doesn't have that.
No.
And I just think that's something where it kind of is a huge knock on him, and that takes him down. We got with Kristaps might have the second.
Sky's the limit.
They might have the third or second most talent on this list, either behind Blake or in front of Blake, and obviously behind AD. So I mean, why 5 for KP in your guys' mind? Because Ricky, you had him at 4, Dave, you had him at 6, I had him at 6, ends up at 5. So why ultimately did you rank him where he is? And do you think that KP might finally hit that 20-mark plateau, that 20-point plateau? Do you think he's going to have that year where we finally say Kristaps is here? Because even last year he was kind of iffy, like Kristaps wasn't having that great of a year, but they also didn't trust him that much.
No, I think the trust thing came down to, are we appeasing Melo at this point in time, or are we just playing games? Because that's. Honestly, I think that kind of overshadowed a lot of what he did last year for the Knicks. Well, just the whole melodrama drew away from it. Like, he wasn't on all season, but he was pretty good. He continued to get better. I think the thing for him is, like, they need to just openly finish the Melo saga. Like, once that's done, Porzingis, I have no questions, no qualms about his growth in the future and him being, the star in New York. The problem is, as long as Melo's still there, he's not, going to be, number 2 or number 3 in my power forward rankings because he's not going to have the ability to prove himself of being the guy in the biggest media market in America and being a superstar because he just has Melo over him. It's like Kyrie Irving. Like, and the difference is obviously, like, Melo's never going to win you a championship.
And Ricky, say that Melo cloud, it's true. Say that Melo cloud gets lifted over KP. Does he even get that, like, boost, though? Because he's then the guy, but then he's on a shitty Knicks team. And he's still on a
team
shitty
is
Knicks
instantly
team.
worse somehow.
Yeah, he's still a shitty Knicks team. But, I mean, does he get a boost from that?
Well, it comes back to the DeMarcus Cousins situation. Because I would relate the Knicks right now to where the Kings were when we were talking about the Kings might have been a little bit better where the Knicks are, but still it's the same thing. Like, he could be the best player on this shitty Knicks team, and we could look at it and go, man, is like KP's doing well, but man, that team sucks behind him. We did with DeMarcus.
If Melo gets traded tomorrow, think KP puts up 22 points a game, like 10 boards? I think he'd be a 22 and 10 guy.
I think so. I think with his ability to block shots, he could be a 22-10-2 guy.
Yeah.
But, the thing is that you can't build around a team around a 4. We know this.
Well,
Anthony Davis is number 1. He's not winning a championship. The guy number 2, Draymond Green, he's the 4th option.
But that's the thing and this is the main.
He's 2.
I know Dave wasn't going there with this, but this is the main difference when Dave brought up it's like Kyrie and LeBron. The main difference is I look at Kyrie and I see an ego. I look at KP, I don't see an ego. And that's the difference to where I feel like KP can be like, okay, yeah, I'm the guy now. They bring in like a guard that obviously this is a guard league, and KP goes, okay, it's us. And it's if you're the number 1 scorer, it doesn't matter as long as
to
we're
be fair,
winning
he
games.
did no-show their exit interview.
And that's because they
he
were
pulled
showing
a
him
little bit of a
respect.
diva move. He's saying no ego.
No,
and I'm saying
no.
he's got a little diva.
I feel like it's something where you just
never
want
saw that
respect
as
shown.
Yeah, and that's where I'm going with it. That was an FU to management, not an FU to
We're talking
the
about
players.
the worst man. We were talking about Phil Jackson running the Knicks. That was
I
a
understand.
travesty.
They basically and you could
Isaiah
say
ran that team.
could have played into getting Phil fired because that happened, and then Phil was gone.
Well, and I think the thing is crazy too. LaMarcus Aldridge, Kristaps Porzingis, Kevin Love, all been in trade talks.
Yeah.
Serge has been traded 3 times.
The value of a 4 in the NBA is very low right now.
And honestly, that's the reason why Draymond Green, who is the 4th option on his team right now,
which is crazy.
is the 2nd most valuable fucking 4.
Yep.
It's unreal. again, and he brings something where
2
it's
years
leadership,
ago,
grind. He brings all-around basketball game, and he's unreal.
Rick, you tell your 2 years ago story that you're still angry about.
What 2 years?
Draymond Green.
Draymond
Oh,
years
yeah.
suspended.
If he wasn't suspended, we would be talking about the 3-peat.
That's
He
how
wasn't a
important
nut kicker.
Draymond Green was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he went off. Mm-hmm. He went absolutely off that series.
Well, and one thing, all of these guys, Serge plays a role, but Serge is going to be the 4th option on a really good team. He was the 4th option on a really good team back when the Thunder went to the finals. It was Harden, KD, and then Westbrook, obviously. Anthony Davis, I feel like, is the only guy that could be...
He's the only number 1 option.
But do you feel like Anthony
Porzingis
Davis...
could be if Melo leaves.
Do you feel like Anthony Davis and Kristaps Porzingis, if they are the number 1 option and have a good guard next to him, they can win a title?
I do. I think that the time isn't right now.
Take out the Warriors.
It's still hard to believe because of LeBron James and all this craziness with super teams and all this bullshit teaming up.
I'm going to say this.
I think they could in the future, though, yeah.
Kristaps could win a title, but he has to be in a situation kind of like K-Love and Draymond, where both of them are in a situation to where they fit in. Because if K-Love was still in when he was in Minnesota,
Fat K-Love.
we were not talking about him winning a title. He gets to
The
Cleveland.
dub machine.
Yes, he's playing with LeBron, best player in the NBA, but it's the whole he fits that system. And like Draymond, you mentioned it.
I don't know if Caleb even fits that system, to be honest.
But he's
He
not
had to learn how to shoot a 3 ball.
He hasn't fit in 3
but
years.
it's not one of those things where it's a complete, like, oh my God, what is he doing? Why did they trade for him? Look at Draymond. Draymond fits in with that team, and they win titles. So Kristaps could, but he's not going to be like the I'm putting it on my back, and going to
Not every game,
put it
not
up
every night.
to where he's just going to, they're eventually going to get a system, and he'll work with it.
I don't know. It just the 4's so weird, and I don't even know if it's weird saying that Anthony Davis might not be the number 1 option on a finals winning team, just because he is that good.
Yeah.
Talent-wise, he's unreal.
Yeah.
But going to K-Love, because we brought up K-Love.
Well, before K-Love, and this kind of brings into him because he had to learn it, it's because the 3-ball. Everything's about the 3-ball now.
Hold on. Let's stop saying Caleb needed to learn a 3 when he got to Cleveland.
No. But
he had his best shooting year in Minnesota shooting the 3. He was shooting like 6 a night.
But that was something that it's like...
Come on.
That was the role that he was going to be put in with the Cavs.
There's a difference between shooting 6 threes a night and being told to go stand in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's what I'm talking about.
He had to learn to be a spot-up shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine, but you're saying like he never knew how to shoot a 3.
I
Learn
did not
a
mean
3
that.
is like Joel Embiid learning a 3 in 3 years while he's injured.
He watched white guys shoot, which was got to like that's why we love Joel Embiid. Like,
He's funny, and
he's
we'll talk
absolutely
about him
hilarious.
next week.
I can't wait. Number 1.
I know, we can't wait.
Spoilers.
But with K-Love and Dave, you had him at high at 2.
I had him at 2.
With that, why are you taking so much into K-Love, a guy that was the 3rd option on a team, and people were like, well, he's the weakest link.
In that system, he might have been weaker than Kyrie and LeBron, obviously. But I think that, honestly, what he brings to you, and as far as a player is concerned, he's an all-around player. There's nothing Kevin Love can't do, and he proved it by going to Cleveland and learning to be a role player all over again. And then he got to grow himself in the system and then he continued to build his defense. He was guarding 1s and 2s. I mean, Kevin Love will do anything for you, and that's what's amazing about me. Like, the difference between him and Draymond Green honestly came down to the fact that my expectations for Kevin Love versus Draymond Green, like you keep saying, is fourth option in the system. Every once in a while, he still jumps up and puts out a lights out night. I mean, he's 5-5-5-5.
He's gonna have a 5. He's gonna if anyone has a 5x5, it's gonna be Draymond Green.
And fair enough. But I just think that Kevin Love is the most versatile four outside of Anthony Davis there is in the game, and I think that everything he does, like, he is solid. He's solid or better at everything. Draymond Green, to me, I can't put him that way. I can't have him at. I think it's very close, but I give the edge to Kevin Love.
And one thing with Kevin Love I want to mention, at least in the playoffs, he had an unreal playoff. I mean, you look at his efficiency, you look at his ability to rebound, you look at his ability to score. Shot 43% from the field, shot 45% from three, shot 84 from the line, 10 rebounds, 16.8 points per game. I mean, he had his best year in the playoffs last year. And he's getting better and finally getting into that role.
Exactly.
But again, it's one thing where K Love was a 2020 machine back in Minnesota. But then again, that guy couldn't be the guy. I mean, all these guys can't be the guy. If the only guy looking at the two guys that probably are going to be the guys, at least on their team, Anthony Davis, Blake Griffin, any of them have a shot to be MVP or NBA first team.
Oh, we talked about at the start of the year last year with Anthony Davis, when he was putting up the stupid 50-point stat lines.
Well, yeah, he was averaging 30 and
he was averaging 40 for the first week.
Yeah,
and then it got down to a reasonable 37.
Him and DeMar DeRozan. Yeah, that's what.
Oh my God, that was an amazing start to the season.
But do you guys think that they'll be at least top of their position? I mean, obviously outside of Anthony Davis, but do you think Blake can make that jump like Anthony has?
No, I don't think Blake can. Even if losing Chris Paul means he's going to increase usage.
And JJ.
Getting in very new players. Bringing in a 30-year-old veteran from Europe to be your point guard of the future. I love Milos, but still. I don't think that he's going to make a jump. I think he's going to be pretty much the same player he was last year. Honestly, I don't see his stats change that much. I don't see Blake continuing to grow.
Ricky, you were high on Blake and the Clippers last year, and obviously Blake got injured again. But do you think that he could take a jump, possibly, if he stays healthy?
I mean, if you're going to get 82 games of Blake Griffin versus the expected 60, 50, maybe, 40.
For me, this is what I think, and I could be wrong, I could be right. AD and Draymond are 1-2. No changing it in my mind.
Unless, I know. I'm not saying that, but specifically to Blake Griffin, I'm not asking who's going to jump. If Blake Griffin is healthy, can he make a jump in his mind? Can he? I'm just asking.
No, that's what I'm saying.
As a number one option now.
AD and Draymond are 1-2.
What does Blake need to do to make that jump?
Nothing.
So,
to me,
if he puts up 30, 20, and blocks 5 shots a game, he's staying at number 3.
To me, I look at it.
Hard 3.
Unless, really.
You have a floor, Blake, and a ceiling.
Because it's the roof. But realistically, to me, it's AD, Draymond. I don't see Kevin Love jumping it. I don't see KP. I don't see Blake Griffin. And for me, it's those 3 fighting for number 3. And
but
for
I'm
me,
I
look at
what would it take, Blake?
What would it take for Blake to
would
make
need
a
to
jump?
Ball out like AD did and basically go 40
now he is
points per game.
Okay, AD
he didn't
never
have to
did
do
that
for the full season.
But he's never done that.
You know what I mean? More like I'm thinking DeMar DeRozan type, where we're talking holy
neither one of them
shit.
did it for the full season.
No, I'm not saying full season, but even for that, and I'm not saying he's going to do that, but that's kind of the ridiculous thing that I would need because of what Anthony Davis and Draymond are to not only their teams, but the game and their position.
Do you think that Blake, now as the sole number one option in LA, can be a at least a very useful player, and not useful because I think that's kind of disrespectful, but do you think that Blake will continue this production without Chris Paul?
It's going to be, here's the thing, and the big thing that I think plays into it is Milos. Because the whole thing we mentioned with Blake Griffin, and yes, he kind of worked on an outside shot, but really Lob City. If Milos can lob the ball up to Blake Griffin, he'll be A-okay.
All right. Let me read the stat line from you, and I want to see if this will say that you can say that this guy would be number 2. If he plays 35 minutes a game, shoots 51% from the field, shoots 47% from 3, 78% from the line, grabs 8.6 rebounds per game, 6.2 assists per game, has around 1.2 steals per game, puts up 26.2 a night. Do you think that Blake Griffin will be able to be number 3? So 26, 8, 6, shooting 51% from the field and 47% from 3.
I'd at least think about it. I wouldn't for sure put it in, but I'd at least give it a little bit of a thought.
This was Blake's stat line in February.
I'd give it a little bit of a thought. If
you're getting 35 minutes a game from Blake, 26 a night, 8.6 rebounds per game, 6.2 assists per game, shooting over 45% from 3.
Yeah, if I get that for a full season, absolutely. I don't expect that to ever happen.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. He did it once before, and that was with Chris Paul.
For a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Like, I'll give you Joel Embiid stats for a month.
Dave, we need to talk about something in this fucking podcast.
No, I mean, again, he's good. He's not great. That's my answer. Like, the problem with power forwards as a whole is, like you said, the game has moved away from it for right now. I don't think it's going to be long term. I just think it's, for a couple of years, it's going to be very hard to win around power forwards. Maybe it's because Anthony Davis, like you said, there's 4 or 5 great power forwards in the NBA, and there's a lack of depth, clear lack of guys who have it. We look at point guards, and I hate bringing this up every time, but point guards, there's 20 deep where you have quality point guards. That doesn't exist for power forwards. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I think that helps contribute to the way the game is played today. It just, when you don't have talent there, you can't build a game around it.
Well, and I'm just waiting for, but also, I mean, with power forwards, I mean, there's been guys that have definitely transcended the position, like Tim Duncan.
A couple years ago,
Karl Malone, all these guys have transcended the position, but you see more guards and forwards.
The NBA is changing its rules to be more guard
friendly. No, but I'm saying, even historically, the greats are mostly guards and forwards, and actually small forwards, guys who would play the 3 in this NBA.
Maybe.
Just saying.
Maybe.
I don't know. Anyways, let's wrap this podcast up. If you guys want, you can leave your comments down in the section below, because that's what it's there for. That's what the comment section there is for. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit subscribe and like on this channel. Did we update the Patreon yet?
Yes, we did.
Cool. Then just check out patreon.com/mostlypodcast. We're revamping it. We're going to add some cool stuff. $1 will get you an audio-only podcast. $2 will get you a video podcast.
Get to see our beautiful faces.
Each month, and it's gonna be fun. We're gonna talk about a lot of different things, maybe sports, maybe not sports.
We Tindered in the past. Mark may hate it, but I will bring it up each and every time.
We did.
We Tindered.
It was a pretty decent podcast. That was back in October. Dave, Ricky, and I did it, so it was pretty fun.
And they could catch that too. It's still up there.
You could. And anyways, Patreon's there. Check out our Twitters. Check out our Facebooks. Check out Snapchat, Instagram. Check out all those. We gotta push that out. If you're listening on Block Talk Radio, thank you so much. If you download it, you rock. Again, YouTube guys, you know what the deal is. Also, just want to throw out there, Conor McGregor, best of luck to you against Floyd Mayweather.
I hope he knocks him out.
I hope he does too. He's not going to, because Floyd is 49-0 in his boxing career, going to be 50-0 because he is one of the best boxers in my lifetime.
Patriots were undefeated and they fell.
Yeah, but the Giants played football that year.
I know.
In their career, they had football players.
It'd be like if the Bulls or the Knicks came in and beat the Patriots. I
don't know about that. That's kind of a stretch. It's kind of like
it's a New York team not playing a sport that they play.
It's different. Anyways, good luck to Connor. Is all I'm saying. But for Dave Oster, for Ricky Widmer, I'm Sean Anderson. We'll see you next time.